This is GeroTheHero, and this is my review of ACCA Episode 12, the finale. The story wraps up in a decent kind of way, although I know most people wanted Jean to become the king. It was at least satisfying to see that all the citizens and ACCA decided to unite. At first, it looked like the coup would go exactly how Lilium wanted, and it was better to have the prince understand that ACCA is still needed and that they are the voice of the people. Mauve becoming the leader of ACCA was a good thing, but that leaves whoever is the replacement in a spot of power that could be corrupted. I like that Faraway got isolated and Lilium's plan of control was thwarted and that Jean didn't have to become the king. I think he would really have hated that position. It was nice to see that the king feels that Jean is exactly like himself. We got closure for a lot of the mini stories. The mining district found resources that they needed to be prosperous. Sitsu got to be an actual district. They also got to share their resources and trade. The other 5 chiefs got to go back to their own hometowns. I thought it was interesting that Jean's boss was no other than his mom's loyal guard, and that Jean and Lara were always being watched over. It's also nice, although it wasn't officially announced, that peace and friendship was found between the prince and his cousin Lottie, and that the king got to see his grandchildren again. Now, overall, this show wasn't perfect. I would say it's an 8 out of 10, just for the fact that the pacing in the beginning of the show was kind of very slow, like ridiculously slow. In fact, a lot of people dropped it, maybe on the first episode just because of that. But once you got to the actual story, it was very interesting. The mystery of whether or not Jean was part of a coup, his background, and his family. Once we got to the part where we found out that he was of royal blood and the background of his mom and how they were being protected by people that cared about them, and that their grandfather actually cared a lot about his mother in the fact that he let her basically have her freedom to go do what she wanted to do, but she was also being cared for, even though it was kind of in secret. And it was also interesting to find out about Jean's relationship with his friend that was basically being loyal to him, just like his father was being loyal to them in watching them. Once you find that out, it changes the story completely, because then you realize that in the previous episodes, all the people of those districts were actually caring about Jean and his sister and their welfare, and that they were showing their support to him. So when Jean went to these different districts and nothing was going on, it was because the people were already considering Jean as their king, and that each were showing their support when they gave him a cigarette. And in Jean going to the different districts, they were able to see him and show their support. And then that leads to a different dynamic in the show, because from that point on, it's a question of, is Jean actually causing the coup because he wants to become king, or is he just following orders to have favor with the director? And then it's a question of, who are the other party members? Is the prince actually trying to kill them? Is it the aunt? Just all those things, all those mysteries made the show more enjoyable. Overall, the music was really great. I think it's probably the best openings for the season, basically. The story, once you get to the good part, is worth the wait. So like always, comment below, subscribe, and follow me on Twitter, and I will see you next time.